watch this space and see things that are happening at the moment. Really, really interesting. Really interesting stuff is coming out now on the news. But the main one is old Prince Charles. I would, when the COVID started, I said I smelt a rat. I smell a rat and I smell a rat with him. I don't like the man. I believe he's an active Satanist. I think his brother is. His uncle, Lord Mountbatten, was.
Yeah, but you said earlier in this video that you spoke to survivors. So what do you mean you think? Shouldn't you be a bit more solid in what you're thinking and saying you know? Because you 100% believe these people? Or is their story a bit... Is that what it is? I've got to bleep that word out, sorry.
Right, hold on. Mrs. I'll take issue with you here. You're jumping to automatically no believing people because he's the messenger. And this is the whole problem. See if there are genuine victims and their perpetrator is the king or a prince or a sheik, does that automatically mean that they're telling lies? No, but it becomes more suspicious when people like John are saying it. So you're bringing it back to questioning the victims, and I'm always saying, just enough, right? I want to hear what he's going to say about Donegal.
But is that story a load of rubbish? I think it might be.
You don't know that.
Hey.
Watch it.
In the same video, you debunked yourself.
On him, and the FBI turned around and said...
This is why you're no longer in the police job, weren't you?
He's no debunked himself at all. You've got confirmation bias. You are coming from a place where you don't want to believe victims. You're coming from a place where you're saying because somebody's a king that they won't abuse people. And you're also coming from a place of asking for evidence, which is a good place to come from. But you're not asking him. You're not looking to him as a source. He's here to discredit us or any other victim who might be connected to any royalty. Have you heard about Latifah? Her abuser's her dad. He's a sheik. Have we not to believe her story? Well, that's his daughter. And then his wife came forward. And then she came here. And it all came out. And he is an abuser. So why are you just automatically jumping onto victims here? I came on to speak about this Donegal thing with him. And I heard this comment for you there.
Was it CIA? CIA said this man should never be in a position of decision-making in the military. Yet the British put him in charge of the fleet. Totally ignored it. And said the man's an absolute... And he was.
It's nothing... Look, it's on record, right, about Mountbatten. So you just keep regurgitating these stories. Now I've heard you're pointing at Donegal. Where's your evidence?
Idiot.
That he was involved in satanic rituals in the Donegal area.
Wow, so you're just going to Where's your evidence? Who's they said?
Who recognised him being taken to his big house in Donegal or Sligo, one of them.
Sligo's about three and a bit hours away from Donegal, so that's quite a long way away. So you're just picking on two places. What is it with Sligo and Donegal that have annoyed your mob? Now, people in these places that you're mentioning know a lot, but I'll tell you something, they'll never tell you. And I'm speaking as one of the insiders for Donegal. My mammy's Rose Duffy. We're for the heart of Donegal and Anagra. And I can tell you right now, nobody's going to be telling you anything. You get that?
Well, he mentions a big house.
Yeah, it's been mentioned.
Not the actual address.
It's no big deal. There's loads of...
No, he won't mention the big house. We know about the abuse that was going on in Donegal. Everybody does. And some people are under threat of their lives. So why is he coming in? He was interfering in Govan as well, I've noticed. It's like he's coming in to muddy the waters, you know?
I would have bleeped it out, mine, but still.
These places were targeted, is that the thing?
Cousin to the Queen, or whatever he might be, and he's given a high
military
position, you know.
Yeah, so what royals?
India, kicked out of India.
That's kind of...
Allegedly fiddling with...
That's not just our royal family. That's other royal families around the world. They partake in their old... Why do I keep saying that today? But they do. They do. They're part of their
So you're really biased towards the royal family? With this kind of straight talking thing? That's fine, but do you know what? I'm not. I don't hate them either, but I'm certainly not pro anybody here. Nobody gets a free pass because they're royal family, Vatican, chic, whatever it is. Police officers. So there's something no right here.
Military force, aren't they? And it's kind of normal for like royal families to be involved in military and to get military honours. Some say, some of them actually work hard towards it, and there's been proven stories of people being saved by the royals, weirdly. That must be a conspiracy, though.
With boys, a massive, with a huge liking for young boys.
That's wrong. That's so wrong.
An interesting chap with some quirky behaviour. Anyway, he was a massive, absolutely massive.
So you, if he is, so you.
And if my informant in Northern Ireland.
How do you know it's so wrong? Because he's saying it. You're all piling shit onto any victims and survivors that they exist, by the way. And I'm here to stand up for them.
And he's correct. He's a Satanist children. At the same time. No wonder he was killed. Anyway, he was a massive, absolute leader who had a liking for young boys. And if my informant in Northern Ireland is correct, he's a Satanist children. At the same time. No wonder he was killed. And what do the intelligence services know on these?
He's horrible. Well, you should know because you said you were part of all that, remember? Mm-hmm. Again.
People, they know so much. And you'll find out that all of this cover-ups, the building up for World War III, it's all demonic.
Building up for World War III, it's demonic.
So, you know, this is a born-again Christian speaking with man's brain. I'm sorry. It turns your brain to mince and you see everything in terms of God and the devil. And, you know, Satan's the best friend of these paedophiles because, you know, he takes all the blame for everything. All this paedophilia's all down to Satan, you know. It's not about real men and real women, actually, and local authorities and councils and social services and police officers actually covering it up, targeting victims like myself, leading us into situations where we would be totally compromised if we ever came forward. You know, having things done to us and name taping it. We know what Mountbatten and Boothby and all that were doing. But you don't. You just want your audience to think that they do because that's what brings them back. That's the dangling carrot. That's you're using the victims of these people. And you, missus, you're just coming straight out blatantly saying that they're all lying. Well, I don't believe that either. And what's this about this the picture being fake? With Andrew and that, Andrew admitted his liability, and the Queen stripped him. She's privy to all the information about him, and she stripped him of everything. And you're trying to sit there and defend. But we've got people who feel that they're entitled to do anything, and you're just automatically calling anybody that might have been abused by them liars. What about the victims that were taken into the palace by the butler and the Phillips man, and they were convicted? But by your logic, you know, because they were next to the royalty, they wouldn't have been abusing anybody. And these children are lying. Well, the judge disagreed and the jury disagreed based on the evidence. So where are you coming from? I was like, I was really impressed by your work exposing him. But now you're actually making it look as though he's the hard done by hero and he might have something to say.
is all roads will link. It'll be a binary issue.
I think any time anyone tries to give him any help or mention his health, like he was mentioning, we will look at this other video at one point, but in another video I saw where he's constantly mentioned demon stories, right? It seems that he mentions anybody in healthcare, right? He doesn't like people in healthcare for the way they treated him over his son. So now they're all demons. So, and also the childcare, they're all demons too. You know, so healthcare, childcare, demons. And obviously PDF files, royals, demons and PDF files, police force, demons, PDF files. These are all people he doesn't like.
No, these are all areas that predators go towards in order to abuse people. And you work in a caring position. You've got one of the voices. If you came into my house and spoke to me in that tone of voice, I would have to ask for somebody else. I wouldn't feel safe about you. You're really aggressive.
With the royals, I'm not sure what that's about, but I think it's just that he's just jealous.
You're just... You know what I mean? Like, if you came in as a nurse or a carer, I would... I'm sorry, And also, you're monetising this. I'm a survivor. I don't monetise anything. Never have, never will. I've been on this battlefield since 1999, 2000 onwards. Never monetised anything, never sold my story. Never spoke to the press, never sold anything. Just went to the police about it all. And it's been covered up by all the people that you're just talking about. So who the fuck are you?
And it's a bit of a grift, isn't it, to join into that bandwagon as well. And if he joins in with that,
what you're trying to turn it into? No, I don't think so, hen.
Other stories. That's what they kind of do. They like attach onto other people's stories to try and benefit their own. And there's that many stories that.
Well, that's what you're doing here just now. Right, my story's mine and it's been owned by me. I speak from my heart about my story and I speak about the victims of the same perpetrators. I don't bring up anything about details or anything about monetising my channel so that people can hear the next thing and I get paid. You know, so, you know, you're wagging fingers here, but God,
you don't understand whose story's true and whose story's connected to who. So a lot of these stories are just a load of rubbish.
No, they're not. No, they're not. How dare you gaslight thousands and thousands of survivors all over the country? What's your name, Mrs?
Evil.
And it is evil. It's horrible knowing that now. It's horrible knowing that now because so many of these stories I believe myself. I remember...
So many of these cases have been prosecuted in courts of law, so what the fuck are you talking about?
Seeing the Elm Guest House names being popped up. I remember seeing that online. Now, it wasn't online for long. I remember searching months after it was released and it was taken down. But I remember seeing the Elm Guest House list, and there was a lot of issues with it. There was a lot of issues with the documentation, how it all seemed to have been in the same handwriting. And we're talking about different people signing into a guest list here, you know. And it seemed like staged, right? Some were just lists.
It's called a controlled opposition psychological operation conducted by the authorities to discredit the real survivors in the actual real homes all over the UK. And we know, because we're the Survivor Network. He's not the Survivor Network, we are. And we know it's real. And we know that NHS workers fucking hate us. Why is that? Why do you hate survivors so much?
Some were guest books, right? But all they showed is that people stayed there. And it turns out like Elm Guest House was just a hotel that accepted gay people. And
is that right? I don't know about that. And I really don't like... I'll not be watching your channel anymore because I don't like the constant... dismissing of a whole community of people. Do you know you're offending 1 in 4 people have been sexually abused, and a lot of the people have had powerful abusers in that network protect them. Do you know that a paedophile network is organised on this island, on these islands, and that they infiltrate every institution and every level, teaching, NHS, and you're just dismissing all of that because he has talk about demons? Well, thanks very much, hen. Thanks very much. You know, we needed another slap in the face for another YouTuber.
I think they target places like that, you know, like gay clubs, gay pubs, gay-friendly hotels, swingers clubs, you know, because John Wedger likes those. So they target places like those. They target places like those a lot. So, and then they'll make up stories about them. Now, these places, they've been attacked for so long. This has been going on throughout the 90s. I remember our local gay club, right, that was constantly attacked. And it wasn't anything sinister. It was just...
Do you know that every club has had an issue with underage people going into the club, being given drink and drugs, and then being preyed upon by sexual predators? Every club in Glasgow I know, all the pubs had an issue with this. And you're trying to make out that just because people are swingers or because they're a certain sexuality, that doesn't happen there. No, your logic isn't standing up at all, is it?
Pub. It's just a normal pub, nothing wrong with it. Nothing sinister ever came from it. Right, but people used to make up shit.
Normal pubs have got issues with underage drinkers and underage people being exploited in them all the time. I'm not even going to start defending it because you're just gaslighting your audience.
Stupid rumours. And like I say, nothing ever came from it. But it's people like this that make up stupid rumours about places like that because they don't like it because of their religion. And they don't like those people.
No. Safeguarders, right, real safeguarders know him. He's there to sabotage it for us and you're helping him. Just to point that out. Safeguarders understand that abuse happens everywhere. Because abusers are everywhere. And you're trying to make an exception and say that's not the case. There's places where abuse doesn't happen. And unfortunately, the hard truth of the matter that you're trying to know, you're trying to avoid, is that every single section of the community, whether you're royalty, whether you're working for the NHS, whether you're a tramp in the street and you're homeless, like, this is an issue that is no respect of a fucking social class or persons or religion or creed. So when I hear people like you try to make exceptions out of certain communities, try to make a holy caste out of somebody, you know, because they belong to that group, well, that's what it used to be like in the Catholic Church with the priests. Oh, they would never abuse anybody. How could you say that about them? They were just having their nice wee club. But then the reality was they were actually abusing people and they were using the very argument that you're using to gain exceptional, you know, make us an exception. Right, well, everybody's open to scrutiny when it comes to child protection. Do you not agree?
But I think John Wedger, though, I think the problem with him, right, it's not like just that he doesn't like those places. I think some of those places he has issues with for other personal reasons, and we'll leave that at that.
Right, so his personal reasons for attacking these different places has got absolutely nothing to do with whether the investigations that have found that these care homes were actually massively abusing people. There was a wee lassie murdered in one close to me. She left that night and she was murdered and left. And then her body was discovered by another predator and violated again and left like rubbish at the side of the road. By God, you're slapping victims right in the face here, Hen.
Good. And it'll be as simple as that. So, by their fruit shall you know them, my friends. Not by their words.
Oh, shut
words
up. You know
nothing.
your fruit is.
Follow
Stop
men,
quoting
lead
scripture.
from the front and give us the goods. All right? And,
Give the goods. Give.
Honestly, Stars Party. Anyway, doing a more in-depth one on Friday. I'm going onto the street again.
Right, so basically all I know is, right, Chuck Colson, the family. I was terrorised into the family that he's talking about when I was 14. And after, you know, years and years and years indoctrination and terrorism from the family, because that's what they are, they're just like him. They're a bunch of, you know, ex-gangsters and thugs. They call themselves ex, but they're not really. Because this is just a new issue that they use to bully people with. They're not using guns to hurt people anymore. They're using false accusations. Sometimes they're using true accusations, but like John, you know, whatever comes out of his mouth is going to be ridiculed by people like you. And by default, the victims we get it, we suffer, because people like you and yous are both making money off of us. That's the way I see it.
We go into a red light area on Friday, and
Friday came and went, and he did not go to a red light district, as far as I know. But he may have done. But why it was a bigger one, I don't know.
How would you know what he's doing?
Someone said in the previous one, he said, "Oh, it was an ex-red light district." Well, I don't think they watched the video, because he'd already pointed out 3 Toms that he said he's seen. So I don't know.
Let's highlight what's still going on, and let's see if we can take this to the government and urge them to do something.
What we've got here is a whole industry. Simon Cowell funded Mark Williams-Thomas, another ex-police officer that makes false claims and steals valour for victims and survivors. He said in the Mirror, Simon Cowell, that the new big thing's true crime, you know. Aye, yous have all jumped on the bandwagon, Every single one of yous making money. Monetising your channels because of child abuse. That's what's making people click here. Survivors are watching this guy in this fake psychological operation, and we're watching people like yourself trying to shape people's thinking about it in the wrong direction. And so I'm just going to hope that you maybe watch this, and think about what you're doing and who the casualties are and who the perps are here. Because we're not defending anybody based on honour. And where there's evidence and testimony, where there's witness testimony, that's evidence. And there's witness testimony here against royals from all over the world about the atrocities that they've committed. But you seem to be like a pro-royal. So, like, to me, it's just like somebody who's like in a cult. You know, it doesn't matter what you say about the cult leader, they don't do that, ever. And that's the very people that do. Now, am I accusing anybody here? No. But I do know that there's issues at every level of our society, and to say that that's not the case and to try and make an exception and a holy cast out of one section of the community just because you are in, positions of authority, like the police and all that. Are you trying to say that there's no perpetrators in the police? Are you fucking stupid?
For the problem of kids on the street.
Were you not hearing of that? Have you not seen Wayne Couzens
doing a dangerous mission
or David
on Friday.
Carrick?
We're going to be taking you into the heart of darkness.
Fucking gaslight me.
Please, stay tuned. All right?
So, that never took place, right? Why he's the one to be doing that, I don't know. I really don't think he's safe to be near kids. Not at all. So, that's your update for your John Wedger watch. Again, he's just been walking around the streets begging for money off you guys. I'm not going to put the link in there for you to donate, because I can't be bothered. But I will put in there my link for the Buy Me a Coffee. Have a nice night. Thank you very much for watching.
No worries, but I'm really taking a dislike to you after hearing your mouth towards victims and survivors. Oh dear.